Okay, so what we are trying to do is to check if we can create a simple automation framework. Okay, and we will divide it as small bits. Like every day we will just spend 15 minutes, start creating small parts, and together we can put it and build one entire automation framework. So in this process we have Greta together. Now she will be doing, actually how we have planned is like, so first 3 days or 4 days we will try to split small blocks and try to create what it takes to add up to a one particular automation framework. On the fourth day or fifth day, she will be actually implementing all these 4 days into one piece, and she will be demonstrating how she has implemented all these in her framework. So this way we will try to build all possible things that a Selenium based automation framework needs. So as a first step we will try to do it with Cucumber framework. So this is the plan. So for that, on day one, so what we choose is like, we will try to incorporate Webdrivermanager. So as a base, we will try to have Webdrivermanager in our automation framework as a first step. Okay, so for this, what I have created is in the pom.xml file. So I have the following dependencies. So first dependency is like Selenium, HQ Selenium, which is for Selenium Java. So I use 3.14, 1.5. We can still use the latest version as well. And TestNG I created 7.0. We can ignore this for now since we are going to use Cucumber. The next one is like I have used Webdrivermanager. So io.github.bonigarcia, so I call it Bonigarcia. Webdrivermanager version I have used is the latest one, 5.6.3. So you have to make sure we are having the latest version every now and then. So this is because like we have to, since our browser gets updated, so we have to have the latest version of the Webdrivermanager as well to get the latest WebDrivers. So this is what you need. This dependency is what is important for creating the Webdrivermanagers in your automation framework. Okay, I hope it's clear. So as a next step, what we are doing is like I created a very basic Java framework, which is like the simple archetype. So in that we have source main Java. Okay, in this drivers, in this I created a package called drivers. Okay, so just to make sure all the classes, enumerator, abstract class, anything related to drivers are within the same package. So to open with, so I'll open the driver factory. So this is a enumerated type that I created, enum class. Okay, so generally we will tell it as enumerated, which means like in Java it's like a set of constants, correct? So this constant, instead of using it as like variables or direct constants, I have used enum methods. So when I tell enum methods, so it will have one name to identify like what is the enum name. So here I have given the different browser name, Chrome, Edge and Firefox. So these are the names I have given to identify each and every enumerated type. So inside this, if you see, actually I created an abstract method with driver manager as a return type. So we will go to driver manager again. So I am having this get driver manager here. Okay, so why I am doing this is like this driver manager, I am going to have the same method in all these three enumerated methods. So this is like, this is how the general syntax will be. So if you have an enumerated method, it will almost have the same no method. It will override for all the enumerated types, and you will generally have it as an abstract method only, so that you should have one default method to call for. So that is why we are having it outside it, and it is getting implemented in each and every enumerated type. Okay, so if you open this enumerated, I mean like the method, no driver manager, get driver manager, inside this method I have returned no creating a new object for the Chrome driver manager. So all these driver manager classes, Chrome driver manager, Edge driver manager and Firefox driver manager, all these three things are the Java classes that we have created here. So let's open. So before going to Chrome driver manager, I just open driver manager. So this is an abstract class. Okay, and we have created drivers as a protected variable. Okay, it's a new web driver we have created. Now inside that we have one more protected abstract method, create driver. Okay, now this method we have created a abstract method here, which means like whichever class is going to extend this driver manager, there only we should actually implement this create driver because it's an abstract method. Now apart from no abstract method, I have few concrete methods. One is like quit driver and another is like get driver. Quit driver, I created one simple if else block where I am checking only if block where I am checking null is not equal to drivers.get. There should be no drivers that is open and running. If it is true, if it is not, no, then I am actually trying to close all the web drivers gracefully. Okay, so if it is true, then I am trying to quit the drivers. So close all those drivers and then remove it. Okay, so I've used a try catch block to handle this in case the driver is not available. Okay, so this is what I have done in the quit driver method. Next is like get driver method. In this get driver method, we are using if you are checking driver.get. So if null is equal to drivers.get, which means like there is no drivers, then only we are doing this create driver. So this dot create driver, when I give whichever driver manager we are trying to open, so in that class the create driver method is called. In that class the create driver method is called, and then I am returning that driver.get. So after this the driver should be created. Now it should return the created driver. Okay, now I am just having it to wait, okay, for the driver to load. Any questions? You have to unmute.
Why are we giving if null not equal to driver.get?
Okay, so what it does is, see, this driver is an object that we created, correct? Now,
Yeah.
if the driver is already there or not, this get method, it actually, no, of this thread local, it returns the value of the current thread, which means it will check whether the driver is already open or not. Any instance of driver is already open. So if it is not null, which means the driver is already created and is available. So in that case only we will be able to quit. Which means only if the driver instance is open, then we will be able to quit. Otherwise, we will not be able to quit. So I am checking when I am creating the driver, I am checking the driver.get is not null. Okay. When
Okay.
I am creating the driver, I am checking the driver.get is null, which means the driver is not an okay.
Yes. I mean, if there is a existing driver, it should not be opened, is it? We should only create a new driver.
Yes. See, for example, let's say I am running this particular framework. Okay. Or you have run the previous framework. Previous, which means I am running an instance of this framework now. Can you go on mute? I will explain that. Okay. So what I'm doing is, so with this particular automation framework, I'm running one instance now. Okay. And the Chrome driver is already open. Now I am running it for the second time, running it for the third time. In case the framework, I mean like it is already running, then it will close it. Otherwise it won't close it. Just to make sure that we don't have any open instance available, we are using this quit driver. This method we have written, but if you want to use it or not, it is up to us. Whether if we think that, oh, don't quit any drivers, let all the browsers still be open, then we don't have to use this quit method. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now we move on to the next one. Can you go on mute? Okay, now I have created 3 different driver managers, one for Chrome driver manager, Edge driver manager and Firefox driver manager. So 3 driver managers we have. In all 3 driver manager, I have extended driver manager. Chrome driver manager extends driver manager. So this is the abstract class. So when you create one abstract, when you extend one class to another abstract class, automatically you have to implement the abstract method present in that class. Correct? So in this driver manager, we have this abstract method create driver. Okay. So I have to by default implement that method here. Here what I am doing, this WebDriverManager is the class name. Okay. which we have been utilizing with that Monte Garcia the dependency. Okay, so this is the class I'm using, and it comes, this method inbuiltly comes with that WebDriver manager. I'm using Chrome driver dot setup. This particular line tries to call the Chrome driver that is compatible to your particular browser. Okay, so similarly, if you see, and after this setup, I am trying to return this new Chrome driver of, see, I am using, since if you want, then you can use get Chrome options in case I have to use some of the options. Okay, so if you don't want, you can just, once you have set up, you can return a new Chrome driver alone without these Chrome options as well. I just wanted to show a difference. That is why I have added the Chrome options as a separate method, and I have incorporated within this new Chrome driver. For example, let's say I'm using this Edge driver. Okay, so this Edge driver I'm using. In this, if you see, I don't have any additional options or something. I'm just creating WebDriverManager dot Edge driver dot setup, and then I return a new Edge driver. That's it. Get that? So similarly, you can create one for Firefox driver as well. So accordingly, so any driver, WebDriver Manager supports multiple drivers. So you can use any driver that your particular framework needs. So these are the 3 drivers I have created for now. Okay. So any questions till now? So this particular Firefox driver manager is a normal Java class. It extends an abstract class, driver manager. So by default, you have to use implement the abstract method create driver. So when this create driver is called is like, so whenever you call that particular, see, when you give that get driver method, okay, this get driver method, at that time this create driver is automatically invoked. So where you are actually using this get driver is your enumerator type, where here you are giving get driver manager equal to new Chrome driver manager. Okay, so when you call this one, then it goes to driver manager, and this method is automatically called, and this is when the create driver is automatically called. Got it? Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Get back here. So I created one test Java, my package, okay, and then I created one class. This is the test-ng class I created. So it's like, name is like WebDriver Manager example. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I created one object for a driver manager and one object for WebDriver. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I created one at test method. Okay, test case 1. So I just gave enable false to whichever you want to give, you can give. So I give true here so that both of them will run. So test case 1 I gave. So here driver manager we created, right? We will initialize the object. So here I'm giving driver factory, which is your enumerator type, dot value of. When you give dot value of whatever enum type, it will go and call that particular method, which means this driver factory dot value of, if you give Chrome, this will be created. This will be actually called. Okay. Now, so this get driver manager method, that is called inside, and what I am giving is, now next is like for WebDriver I created after this WebDriver equal to driver manager dot get driver. Okay. So this get driver method automatically goes here, which is in your driver manager, goes here. Now it knows which WebDriver it has to use to call this create driver. Okay. So this dot create driver means, so you are setting the driver actually. So where you are setting the driver is in this particular line, you set up that this driver is going to be the Chrome driver. Okay. Not because you gave the value here, but because you call this get WebDriver manager. So here you are actually creating the new Chrome driver manager. So when you call this, it will go to Chrome driver manager class. Okay. Okay, and this particular driver manager will be initialized. So this is what is going to be called. Okay, now if I go back here, okay, so this is just for reference. So after the driver is initialized, now I am going to give driver.get of google.com. So when I give this, and I am getting this just to make sure that I am able to get the title, and I am asserting that no get title as Google. Similarly, I have used Edge. For this Edge, I have used facebook.com. But the difference here will be like, since I have used Chrome options to maximize and all, automatically when the Chrome browser opens, it will maximize. But when it comes to Edge, it does not maximize. Okay, because there is no options we have included. Okay, now we will try to run this. Just try to run it. So we automatically open Chrome and google.com open, and the next step is like Edge open, but it did not open in the full screen mode because then we did not update that. Okay, now let's come back. I did not give driver.quit. Okay, if we come back, if you see both the test cases passed. Okay, and 2 test runs and 2 passed. Okay. Okay, I hope this one is like no understandable. So you can try to incorporate that. I will share this particular code. You can try to use it in your code and then add it. If you have any doubts, you can let me know. You have any doubts now? Yeah.
Why are we going for threads?
Because we created as each one as instance. That is the reason. So when they created your driver manager, so when you created, so we are creating threads as web drivers. Okay, instead of directly clicking, because we are going to have multiple web drivers, correct? Which means like we will have Chrome also, Edge also, all the browsers we will have. So it's better we have it as threads. It's not mandatory that this is how you have to use. Okay, this is one way which worked for me. Okay, you can find multiple ways that no, you can make this work in Google as well. Okay, this also I have found all these code from Google only, where I took no whichever worked for me. That is when I have changed it. So this one is completely available in Google. I wanted to bring this one up because no, this is like with minimal code. I was able to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve. And the plus point is like, when since we are having like this, no, when I run this entire thing in parallel, when I'm using TestNG, no, I did not face any issues. So simultaneously I'm able to open multiple browsers at the same time and achieve parallel execution. So it can be a useful one that time. So if you think that no, I'm only going to use sequentially, maybe you can avoid this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing.